Great, it's recording. So thank you, and welcome to the December 8th meeting of the Agricultural Commission. We're opening this meeting at 6:46. We've got 2 of the 3 members in attendance in person. Our first item on the agenda is organization. So I'm Town Administrator Jeremy Stoll, Executive Assistant Katie Moxham's here as well. So our first order of business would be to organize, which means appointing a chair. So somebody else can lead this meeting and not me. So as the presiding officer, I would entertain a motion to nominate a member as chair. So what that means for the 2 of you here, does somebody want to be chair and does somebody want to be vice chair? Peter's not here. So we've got 2 folks and we've got 2 offices. So
Thank you. All right, it's me.
All right. So in the select board policies and procedures, so we apply that to everyone else. When someone's nominated for an officer role, they have to accept that role. We can't just draft somebody into an office. So Lisa, would you accept the nomination?
I accept it, yeah.
All right, great. So we'll take a vote and voice vote because you're in person. So a voice vote for chair.
Yep.
All right, so motion carries. So Lisa, you are now chair. And
Great.
do you want a vice chair? You can have one or you cannot have one. Do you want a vice chair, Lisa?
Who's gonna take the notes?
The vice chair.
Yes, I want a vice chair.
So whoever can take the notes, it doesn't really matter. So this meeting's recorded, so whoever can go back and read this or watch it, and write their notes thereafter. I think it's important to have a vice chair. You don't need a clerk and all that stuff, but I think it's important to have a vice chair, to have someone who can run the meeting previously or when the chair's not here.
Yeah, that's a good idea. I agree. Do you want me to nominate the person?
I would, yeah.
Okay, great. How do you say your last name? Want. I move to nominate Christina Want as the vice chair of the Agricultural Commission.
And Christina, do you accept the nomination?
Yes.
Great. And a vote?
I vote in favor. I do too.
All right, great. Motion carries. So Christina, thank you. You're vice chair. Lisa, you're chair. And we can move on with the rest of this meeting. Lisa, I feel like you've been part of enough select board meetings where you kind of understand the cadence of this. But really as chair, so you'll call for motions, you'll move through the agenda. When we start the meeting, you'll announce that it's being recorded. If there's any members participating remotely, if there are members participating remotely, it's required that we have a roll call vote. So tonight we don't have any members participating remotely. I'm not a member, so you get to just do voice votes. So the cadence of it is you would entertain a motion. Someone makes the motion. Someone seconds the motion. Any discussion on the motion, and then a vote, and then say motion carries or motion fails. And then, well, I don't think there'll be any recusal sort of stuff, but if you feel like you are ethically conflicted at one point or another, we can go through the ethics stuff. And then it's important that the minutes of the meeting are then done in a timely manner, which MGL prescribes. It does not delineate what a timely manner is. But generally for a committee that meets monthly, that means at their next meeting. So whoever does the minutes here, and Katie and I can help you on these. I'm talking a lot. It doesn't need to be verbatim of what I'm saying right now. But to have your minutes available to be reviewed by the committee at the next meeting. It's important too that you have a member who's part of the committee, Peter Denton, who's not here. He is allowed to vote on the minutes at the next meeting if he attests that he watched the recording. So he doesn't have to abstain. So if for whatever reason it's just Peter and one of you here, you can still pass the minutes if Peter attests that he watched the meeting. And that's kind of my only guidance to you all on meeting structure. The last thing I wanted to say was if you have any questions on kind of your charge from select board, what it is you can or should do, reach out to Katie and I, and we'll be happy to either bring it up as a select board item to give you some particular direction or issue you direction kind of outside the formal process. So thank you both for serving on this committee. It's been it was specifically called out by select board in their goals for fiscal 2025, which was last year, but to revitalize this committee. So as a person who has the execution of select board goals as part of their contract and part of their evaluation yearly, thank you for joining and volunteering your time to execute the select board goal. We appreciate it. And as a town with the economic structure that we have, highlighting the importance of agriculture in town is important to select board, myself, and constituents broadly. So thank you for your service on this, and anything we can do as select board to support that mission, just let us know and we'll be happy to. And now, Lisa, you're chair. So this is your meeting.
Okay, I have no idea what I'm gonna say, but, well, is there a charge from the select board or is that not formalized?
That's not formalized in that there are a number of committees, things like Finance Committee, Capital Projects Committee, Council on Aging, of all Community Preservation Committee that have delineated roles and responsibilities within the bylaws. Agricultural Committee does not. So it's kind of up to the committee to just kind of promote. I think it's defined in MGL, but just promote agricultural activity in town and advocate for ways in which the town can support that. So I view this committee as being kind of the voice of the agricultural community. So things that we either make more difficult than necessary or don't allow an avenue for and don't necessarily know about. I expect this committee to raise that up and say, take a vote and say, hey, we think the town should do X, Y, and Z. Here's a vote, bring this to the select board. And then also kind of event planning sorts of stuff, highlighting, whether it's farmers markets or agricultural festivals or something of the like. I think Cultural Council has been a good example of that, where they just kind of took off and ran with things that they thought were important, and the select board said, great. So we're looking for some ideas here. There's not a particular charge that says, you're responsible for approving X or putting on Y.
Okay, great. Does anyone on the board have any ideas about how to promote agriculture in the town of Mendon? Do you have any ideas that you want to bring to the board?
I mean, I had a couple of people asking if we would be doing some kind of farmer's market, but I don't.
Okay.
And then also somebody in the town hall when I was here last time asked, they had given me a pamphlet of like some other town in Rhode Island that has like a whole map of the town and the different farms and stuff like that, so that we could like have it more available for the residents.
Mm. Okay, cool.
It's actually, let's see, I'm sorry, I'm not supposed to talk, but it's a scavenger hunt, because I've done it with my kids.
Okay.
We go to all different farms and they get stamps on each one, so like promote people on it.
Mm. Okay, so I think maybe like one of our first tasks could be to have, I know like occasionally it comes up online, like having a master list of farms in town, and I don't know.
I started collecting all that information
Yeah.
like last spring.
Yeah.
I have most of the information somewhere, I don't remember where.
Okay, is that something that we could work on like putting together? Okay, so how do we share like that information with each other, Jeremy or Katie?
Yeah. So you now are subject to open meeting law. So because you're a committee of three, even two of you speaking together and deliberating about a topic is considered an open meeting. So you kind of can't email each other and talk about stuff. What you can do is email each other and talk about agenda creation. So you can say, hey, here's this thing we want to talk about at the next meeting. Do you think we should talk about it at the next meeting? And that sort of thing. But you can't say, here's this idea. Oh yeah, I think we should do X. That is reserved for open meeting. So in terms of communication, we've got stuff that's in chapter land, right? 61A protection for agricultural, which we can come up with. And so, Katie, let's make a note, and we'll talk to Sherry tomorrow, and we'll come up with a list of everything that's in 61A status. And then I know there are agricultural entities in town that don't have that status, and I need and you all need kind of that on the ground knowledge that I don't necessarily have. So coming up with that list, and then we can bring it back to this meeting at its next iteration and say, here's everything in chapter land, here's everything that's not, and this is our list of agricultural entities within the town. That can then be shared. So you all have a page on the town website. The Agricultural Commission will have a page. So we can create a document there that says these are the farms in Mendon, and then go from there. And we can share that. My goal is to have a quarterly newsletter for the town, and then highlight boards and commissions in various capacities each quarter. So once we have some sort of polished product for this committee, we'll be able to share that in our newsletter.
Thank you, Jeremy,
Mhm.
for that insight. Okay, so I think as a future agenda item, then we can make a publication or some sort of list of all of the farms in town. Great. Okay, so that's like a map, or if we could turn it into a map too at some point if we wanted to, but I think first we should start with a list. Okay, great. So formal.
Like I've never had to do anything like this.
In terms of a farmer's market, I mean, it's been floated so many times in town and it like never really comes to fruition. I feel like, I don't really know. I think sometimes farmers markets are just like a private sort of thing. Like if I wanted to have a farmer's market, on my farm, like I could probably do that. Or, if you decided like, oh, I'm gonna just start a farmer's market. I think pretty much anyone could start a farmer's market. I wonder, I don't really know, like, if there's any like farmer's markets that are like sponsored by the town itself.
Yeah, I don't know how any of them are actually like formed or built, so.
Yeah, I think usually it's either the Cultural or Agricultural Commission that organizes this sort of thing. I know, so I previously worked for a municipality in Connecticut when I was an undergrad, and the mayor's office is the one who organized and put on the farmers market. So if we can provide any sort of, logistical support in terms of communication, licensing, finding real estate sort of stuff. But I think the town would be happy to, play some sort of role in this. We can even expedite licensing, through the Board of Health and that sort of thing. So yeah, we can be an official partner in that for sure.
So if we were to try and plan for having like a farmer's market that's run by this agricultural commission, if there would be liability insurance that would, I'm sure we
It
would
would
need.
require a budget, right?
Yeah, because you're gonna have expenses, like you're gonna need land somewhere, whether the town has land that we could use, or like you're at a minimum gonna need liability insurance of some sort, I would imagine, to have like vendors that are there selling stuff, right?
Yeah.
Yep. So liability insurance, police details, land use, that sort of thing. So we can do anything, but not everything. So we can, we would need to plan for it. And so to have it in fiscal 26, we would need to which for anyone watching, fiscal 26 ends June 30th, 2026. Our fiscal year is July 1 to June 30th. So our budget's set through June 30th. So anything that happens between now and June 30th, we would have to kind of wedge in or find some existing rationale. It becomes a lot easier to do after July 1st, where we can make this in a budget presentation. So I can put a few $100s or a few $1,000s into the select board budget to say this is for support of the Agricultural Commission's farmers market. And then everyone says, yeah, that's a great idea. That's the kind of stuff we want to support within town. So it may not be that we can kick this off in the spring, but doing a little bit of work to say, what is it that we need to do for next year or for next spring? I think is the right route.
Okay. I mean, I personally feel like a farmer's market is a very lofty goal. Like, we used to go to farmers markets a lot and they're a huge time commitment. They're a ton of work and it's really hard to get farmers to commit and come to them and like make them successful. So for
Would
me,
like a one-off agricultural fest sort of thing be more attainable in your opinion?
yeah, I mean, I think like a farmer's market is like a great future goal for the board. I just don't think it's. I don't know.
It's a big undertaking, so I think it's something that maybe if we wanted to do, so like, if we were thinking that maybe for like this coming season, like
Right.
season, like maybe we do one, like at the end of the summer, that's like he's saying, like a
Festival.
a festival
Yeah.
thing, and then plan maybe for an actual full-fledged farmer's market 2027,
Sure.
so that we have time to kind
Time
of
to talk
settle
about it,
into
yeah.
what we're doing here
Agreed.
and work on getting enough. You don't want to do something like that and also not have enough vendors where people aren't going to want to come.
Agreed. I think it's more important at this point to like form relationships like with other farms in town and like in the local community and see like what is actually out there and like gauge a certain level of interest.
Yeah.
Okay, and in terms of a festival,
Can I talk about my own business or no?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, for sure.
Okay,
so every spring we do the Mendon Farm Showcase, which is just something that I started on my own. And actually I expanded it because there weren't that many farms in Mendon that wanted to participate, so now I call it the Mendon Area Farm Showcase.
Yeah.
So I'm happy, like I'm planning on continuing doing that because we've done it for probably 3 years now. And it's grown like a little bit every year and I feel like we're starting to gain traction, but is it something that the board could support or is that a conflict of interest, Jeremy?
You may have to file something, a conflict of interest disclosure. I'll have to talk with council and the town clerk, but it seems super doable, right? Like this is a commission to support and promote agriculture within the town. Like, of course, we have private agricultural entities that are a part of it. So I think it is a good question. But kind of rationality and reasonability says there's like an easy workaround to it or an easy path forward through it.
Okay. And we could even like rebrand it as like a farm festival or Mendon Farm Festival or anything, you know?
I mean, I think people already know like what you're doing anyway, so. But if we have to, we could always rebrand if we need to.
Sure, okay. So maybe that would be a goal for the more recent future.
Yeah.
Okay, great. So I guess at the next meeting, then we can add that to the agenda and talk about who's come in the past, who we want to reach out to come, what sort of activities or events we would want to have, and maybe pick a tentative date for it.
Sure.
And then Katie and I will do the research on both the ethics piece and then how much the town can support it. Because if we can go, spend a few $100s of town resources, I think that would behoove the whole endeavor.
Great. Is this whole thing that's being recorded, like, then posted for, like, the whole town to look at, or? Okay.
they have a YouTube channel.
Yeah, so the town has a bylaw passed in, I don't know, early 2020s, that says that all town meetings shall be recorded. And then we've taken that to mean, or not taken that to mean, taken that and posted them to YouTube. So any board, commission, whatever, you can find their meetings on YouTube. And no, this will be recorded on YouTube. I've got to hop off in a couple minutes. I've got to
Oh,
go
I
do
want, okay, just one,
bedtime with my toddler. So that's
okay.
my hard out time.
One other idea I had, and Jeremy, you'll have to speak to whether this is something we could do or not, but, I thought it would be interesting to have like a Facebook page for the AgCom so that we could promote. I know there's like a lot of farms in town that are trying to promote like little things that they're doing, through social media and, have mixed results through some of the local pages, like sometimes it's allowed, sometimes it's not allowed. And it seems like if it was presented in a more official way, like we're promoting all of the farms in Mendon, and any farm that wanted to post an event or whatever could send us their information or post it on the AgCom website or on the AgCom Facebook page. That would be a good way to promote agriculture in Mendon. What do you think, Jeremy?
Yep. So you're certainly free to create a Facebook page for the committee. The difficult thing with Facebook is that it needs to be associated with an individual account. So like the town's official account is associated with my personal Facebook page, which like isn't ideal. But one of you would have to do that associated with your own. Um, we recently proposed to select board a personnel policy, which includes the social media policy. So I'll share that with you all. It essentially says you can't say anything in official capacity that would disparage the town. So you need to be conscious of being very uh, issue and politically neutral, um, which I don't think would be an issue for you all. You're all in business, so you don't kind of want to take that stand anyway. Um, but I just want you to be cognizant of it. But yeah, you're certainly um, able to and encouraged to create a Facebook page to do communications for the committee. I would just caution you that engagement is a little bit difficult. And maybe you know this on like a professional sense, but in a kind of political government sense, um, I wouldn't want you engaging as a page and posturing as if you're talking for the commission or the town, um, in ways that, an individual is not the committee. So once you step up and get away from this table, you don't have any power, so to speak. That your authority comes from your ability to vote as a collective. Just be cautious of how you engage and make directives, edicts, comments, whatever, online, absent a vote and committee process. Don't
Okay,
don't respond to comments is how that boils down to.
okay. So as like under the committee, so say someone posts, okay, Christina posts, I'm having an event, blah, 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 blah. And then somebody comments, they have a question about the event, so like.
So that
under
sort of thing,
a
what
personal thing.
yeah, what time does it start? Where's it at? Am I allowed to come? Where's parking? Yeah, respond to that sort of thing.
Okay,
But like why are you doing X? Can't you focus on Y? Whatever it is. If it's any kind of substantive, deliberative thing, which is germane to the committee, don't comment and don't engage, because that's more appropriate for the committee in an open meeting to do. And you don't want one individual kind of usurping the committee mandate and then going off on their own. So if it's factual, informational, clarification, whatever, yeah, please, that's great. That's what we want you to do. But if it's why aren't you doing the festival why didn't you include my farm in the festival or something like that? Like, I don't want you. Even though it's likely fine, I just want to try to steer you clear of gray areas.
Okay, that sounds great. Is it something we need to like vote on, like we're voting as a committee to create this Facebook page, or what do you think?
Yeah, I think that would probably be the safe way. So the committee votes to create a Facebook page and have Lisa administer it or some sort like that.
What do you think about doing a Facebook page?
I think it would be probably beneficial for us to get our name out there and realize that people know that like this is a thing again.
Okay.
That we're here, we're working on stuff, and
Do you think it's something we're ready to start out now, or do you think we should wait, and what do you think?
I think by the next meeting, probably is fine to like start it up. We can update, we would be able to update people as to like our goals and stuff, or literally just only promoting farms.
Yeah, you can do, and so communication about stuff that happens at meetings, all totally fair game. I just my caution is against deliberation. So against something that because the Facebook page is run by one person. So I wouldn't want the page to get in the realm of deliberation when that should stay with the committee. So if it's just information sharing, totally legitimate use of the page.
Okay, great. All right, so
sorry, I guess the question, if I understand correctly, was the question like, do they need to vote on it, or should they be voting on it at next meeting, like put it as a future agenda item? To vote if they should create a Facebook page, right, is that what you were asking? So you have more information? Or not? That's completely.
No, I think you're right.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah,
do we need,
so-
this is the agenda for next meeting?
I think it's probably a little belt and suspenders to vote, but it's a good idea. So to make a motion to create an agricultural commission Facebook page to be administered by the chair.
okay, great. So, do you think we should wait, or do you think we should do it?
Yeah, I think the question is if they do it now or later. Like, should they put it on the future agenda or do it now?
It's a pretty broad agenda tonight that talked about a lot of different things. So I think it's consistent with what was posted to vote on tonight.
Okay, so then that's fine.
Okay, great. So I move to, I don't know what I'm supposed to say.
So so this is one of the beauties of parliamentary procedure. So I said a motion to create an agriculture commission Facebook page to be administered by the chair, and then one of your members can just say so moved.
Okay,
So moved.
And then it needs a second.
I second that.
So this is kind of the chair role, and then the motion has been made and seconded as in order. Any further discussion?
Any more discussion, Christina?
No.
No, okay. All
Right.
in favor?
Yes.
Yes? Okay,
Right.
motion
There
has
you go.
been approved.
There you go.
So-
You got it already. So you can go ahead and create a Facebook page for the Agriculture Commission. Just send me your details on it, and I'll promote it on the town's page. Not that we have a ton of people on it, but I'll promote it on the town's page. You can put it in the bulletin board, that sort of thing.
Okay, great. Maybe we can, would an acceptable use of this page be to find new members for the Agricultural Commission? Like, oh, if you're interested, reach out to,
100%. Yep.
okay. Is there a general email for the AgCom, or would it be one of our emails, one of our town emails?
Katie, is there an AgCom email or no?
It is.
So either AgCom or BOS admin. So we haven't changed it since we went from Board of Selectmen, but BOS admin, and that goes to Katie and I. So if you're interested, email BOS admin, and then and for your edification, the process of adding new members is you have a quorum. right? You've got your 3. So you would folks would come here and interview with you. And then you would make a recommendation to the select board that says we want to, appoint Jane Doe, and then the select board would consider that and talk to you and talk to Jane Doe, and then appoint them.
Oh, so instead of you interviewing them, we would interview them because now we're an actual board?
Exactly.
Oh, wow. Okay, great.
I have many people that I'm trying to get on, but
Okay.
everybody's a little resistant.
And the email for AdCom is just adcom@mendonma.gov.
And who gets that?
Both of you, like anybody on the commission, all 3 of you.
adcom@mendonma.gov. Okay. Okay, great. Is there anything else that you want to discuss tonight? Or can we wrap this up?
Yeah, well, since I forgot that the meeting was actually tonight, I'm poorly prepared, but I'll be ready next time.
Okay, so for future, let's just go over future agenda items. We will talk about a list of farms in town, and we can bring any information that we have to kind of compile a list at the next meeting.
Okay.
And Jeremy and Katie will help us out with farms that are chapter 61A. And we will start planning for a farm festival. And we will, that's all we got.
Okay.
Future items.
First meeting, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Future items.
Next.
That's awesome. I want to thank you both for this, for volunteering your time for this. I say all the time that our structure of government is so reliant on residents being part of the process. So thank you. This sort of thing is what makes Mendon the type of place people like to live, right? The bucolic, rural, agricultural nature of the town. So thank you for your service on this. We look forward to working with you. And I'm likely not going to be on most of your meetings going forward, but anytime you need me either to support you on the committee or outside the committee, like let me know. Happy to spend some time getting to yes with you. Of
Thank you, Jeremy.
course. And thank you, Katie, for making sure this technically functioned tonight. We appreciate it.
Will Katie tell us how to end the meeting?
She's well versed.
Great.
All right, so parliamentary wise, the chair would just entertain a motion. So the quickest way to do it is I would entertain a motion to adjourn, and then someone says so moved. Second, discussion, vote, and you're adjourned.
Okay, great.
Do we have before you adjourn? Do you have a next meeting date set?
So before we adjourn, we need to set a date for the next meeting. And hopefully we can reach out to Peter and see if he can come as well. So do you want to do it sometime in January?
Sure.
Okay, how do you feel about, I don't know. I mean, should we do you want to do like a tentative regular schedule, like the first Monday of the month or the second Monday of the month or that type of thing? Or would you rather just?
That's fine for now, but eventually sports are gonna start back up.
Yeah,
so
no,
I'm
and
gonna
if we need to
have
change it, we can, obviously, but just, like in a general way,
Yeah.
to make it easier to schedule, like you'll know, like, we'll both know, okay, this is the tentative date. If we have stuff to discuss, we'll come together and meet, and if not, then, we can cancel it or whatever.
Okay.
Okay, so what is good for you? Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday?
Every day except for Friday right now is
Okay.
probably okay.
I like Mondays or Tuesdays.
Okay, I would say Tuesdays because I'm just thinking sports down the line is usually like Monday, Wednesday, Fridays.
Okay, great. So do you want to do Tuesday, January 6th, or would you rather do the 13th? I'm fine to do the 6th if it works for you.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay. All right, so our next meeting will be on Tuesday, do we have to motion that or no?
Nope. So you'll just post the agenda.
Okay.
So that means, so for a Tuesday meeting, that means the agenda needs to be posted with the town clerk by Thursday, but Thursday is a holiday, so the agenda, sorry, not the motion, the agenda would need to be posted by Wednesday, the 31st with the town clerk.
Okay. And I'll figure out, me and Katie will figure out how to do that. Or rather, Katie will help me figure out how to do that. Perfect. Okay.
All right, great.
So I motion to adjourn this meeting.
Oh, what does the then say? So moved.
I think I'm supposed to second it.
Yeah, so you made the motion, Lisa, so the other member would second it. Yes.
Oh, okay.
So I second it.
All right. Any discussion?
No.
Okay, all in favor?
Yes.
Aye. Aye. All right, meeting adjourned.
Excellent. Well done.
Thank you. We'll get better at it, we promise.
We'll be the most